All right, guys, welcome back to Little Bit Lounge. We are 14-0 yesterday on. I'm my Nicole, joined today by Dallas, who is pulling a Jalen Tate from yesterday out and about by school with the skirt. Dallas, how are you?
I'm doing well, enjoying the day. Nice Miami vibes. Hello?
And then we have Coach P today. Coach P, welcome back.
Man, thanks for having me. Glad to be back. I saw my boy Jalen in the house yesterday. He did a great job. I called him and gave him big ups for the job he did, even though he didn't get the picks right.
He tried to hold it down while you were gone.
Nah, he did a great job. That's my boy.
Okay, so with a recap from yesterday, Dallas, do you want to talk about yesterday's game and the pick you see about?
What, the free pick?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Oh, yeah. The Dodgers won. The Pirates actually did something funny.
I like that.
They hit a home run in the first inning, and then they didn't touch first base, so they got the home run called back, and that started off their day. And they lost by about 3 runs, so it was a pretty easy win. Make us 14-2.
Terrific. So today's show is going to be pretty short. There's one game today. It's the versus Suns. This is their game too. So as a big part of Dallas, you want to talk about your players for that game?
Yeah, key players for the game. DeAndre Ayton. To me, for the Suns, he has to neutralize Jokić. So basically, like Charles Barkley said last night on TNT, if you're the star player, you have to dominate your position. You can't not dominate your position being the MVP. So if he doesn't dominate DeAndre Ayton, I don't think the Nuggets can beat them. So if Ayton could just give half the input as Joker, it's gonna be a tough series for the Nuggets because he's big enough to give Joker problems on the defensive end as well. So, and he makes them work. All the other previous series, the big man got in foul trouble because they weren't athletic enough to move with Joker, or they couldn't go at Joker. So Joker just used all his energy on the offensive end. This series, Joker had to play defense. Joker had to chance to get in the shot block. It's just a lot of different things going on. Suns and Nuggets. Look who we got here with us too, Maya.
Man, look, I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous as fuck, scared as fuck to bet my $2,000 with Dello. I put $2,000 on my FanDuel account, and I promise you, I swear to God, I woke up the next morning, it was 15,000.
15,000. Yeah, that's how it worked, though.
Hey, I love him for life. For
sure. For sure.
That's a big fix. That's a testimony. People always say they're making a quick salary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Coach, do you want to give your key players anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Suns. I feel like Phoenix Suns they come in with a starting 5. And I looked at the previous game. I watched most of the game, if not all the game. Everybody scored in double figures. 4 to 5 starters scored over 20 points. So they have a complete balanced offensive attack. And I feel like what they're playing against is Denver is shorthanded. They have what I call a starting 4. So they have strong starters in Gordon and Porter Jr. and obviously Joker. But when you look at the perimeter play, their guard play, you got Rivers and Campazzo who are in the starting lineup. And I think combined, they equal maybe one player, right? But against Devin Booker and Chris Paul, it's not going to be enough. And so I feel like Phoenix holds the advantage in their starting unit. So once I look at the starting units and I get there and I say Phoenix has the advantage, then I go to the bench players. And for me, it starts with the point guard. And so I'm going to look at the matchup between Cameron. I call him Bucky Payne, Bucky from Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, because he has that pushback throw against Monte Morris, the steady hand, solid point guard out of Iowa State. I think Denver has an edge here, but it's not by a lot. I think Cameron Payne has been playing, out of this world. he's been given much more than I would have expected or anybody else would have expected in the league. And so I think because Cameron Payne has been able to hold his own, I still give Phoenix the edge in this game and also in the series. I feel like Dallas asked me earlier, Phoenix in 5 or 6. So my boy's been knocking down he has a wind-up motion. He has a wind-up motion, but he's been playing with a high confidence. And I really want to speak to, and I'm not really trying to make this up, but I really feel like Chris Paul kind of imputes some confidence in him and kind of gives him instruction, because I haven't seen Cameron Payne play like this since he's been in the league. A lot of people are starting to take notice and say, this kid is a baller. He was the baller that we thought he was coming out of college. He's a first-round draft choice, but when put in the right situation, he can be successful. He has great floor vision. He's a pretty decent knockdown shooter. And what happens with Cameron is that he's getting wide open shots. As you notice, and he can wind it up with all of that time, and he can knock it down. So you see his confidence exuding on the court. And he gets a little chippy. He's a little mouthy. And so I like that in point guards, right? So I say Cameron Payne, if he continues to play, at the level that he's been playing, he's the key. He's the difference.
He's the key. So I'm looking through the comments. Somebody commented, they said, Maya Leo stays. They're on vacation. Dallas is out living his best life. Coach P is out living his best life. I'm at home working from home, so I don't have the shades. I just work all day long. Somebody else said it's a lot of freezing. That's probably just because of the different Wi-Fi connections, realistically. They're out and about. But Dallas, question for you. Someone said they think the Suns are going to win and that it's going to go over. Do you agree?
Me or Coach Parker?
Dallas.
Okay. I think the Suns do win. It's kind of hard to tell what the Suns game is going to do, because it's all dictated by that point guard, how he dissects each game. Chris Paul's a point guard. If the game needs to be sped up, he's going to speed it up. The game needs to be slowed down, it's going to be slowed down. And Jokić is kind of the same way. So it kind of just determines how the flow of the game is. I think in order for the Nuggets to win, it has to be a high scoring game. But I mean, it's really.
Uh-oh.
We lost him. The traditional, we lose Dallas in the middle. I'm saying something great, right? So Dallas, you back with us?
Yeah, I didn't think I left. I left?
For a moment, just for a little bit. But it's always when you saying something special, it zone out. Everybody got their pad. They like, okay, he's gonna give up a pick, and it goes out.
Oh yeah. So what's the last thing you heard?
Man, I can't. I was reading comments, man. I'm getting ready to respond to my boy, C Money.
I gotta respond.
You know what, C Money? Hey, C Money. We don't shimmy. Hey, we don't shimmy. We don't do none of that. We on to the next series. So I appreciate the shout out, but it's what I expected. I said the Suns in 6. You all got it on record. Yes, as I said, Chris Paul, I think is the reason that the whole team is playing above what anybody can expect. Starting with DeAndre Ayton, then on down to Jay Crowder, Bridges, Cameron Payne is coming off. He's giving tremendous production off the bench. So I feel like all of that is you got two coaches. You got a coach on the floor. You got a coach on the bench. And then when Chris Paul goes to the bench, you got an extra person that probably will be a coach one of these days. But that's my 10 seconds.
That's your 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So final predictions for tonight's game. Who do you have, Coach P?
Yeah, I got Phoenix. I think they're the better team. I think Monty Williams has them. He has something special going on in Phoenix. And I think that tremendous fan base gives them a lift. Throughout the game, there's going to be runs, but I think the fan base continues to lift them and inspire them to play great basketball. When I say great basketball, we're talking about team basketball. You cannot key on one person. They're giving you double digits from every starter. Plus, you got Cameron Payne that's coming off giving you tremendous production. And I would say be on the lookout for Javon Carter. He's one of the best defensive guards. Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit for his defense, but he is a tenacious defender. So I love for him to get some time, especially to be a lockdown defender on Monte if he gets it going.
Dallas, final predictions for that game?
I like Phoenix as well. They got the most lethal and most confident scorer probably in the NBA, besides Kevin Durant, left in the playoffs. And that book, young fella's not scared of nothing, and he just got the perfect general to let him go when he needs to be let go and pull him back when you need to pull him back, and make sure he gets good shots down the stretch no matter what. And I think that's just the difference in the game. The point guard play along with the shooting guard play, just the guard play in general, and the fact that I feel like Jokic is more neutralized in this series than the rest of them. I don't think he'll just be able to dominate with Crowder helping, digging with his defensive IQ, and having DeAndre Ayton, someone who's bigger that he has to finish on. Keep in mind, this is why the Nuggets got put out by the Lakers last year, the size differential at the big. Jokic isn't that athletic, so when he plays more of those athletic bigs, he struggles a little bit more. He's a baller, like he probably is in the NBA, so he's going to still score the ball, have an effect on the game. But if you can make someone take close to the same amount of shots that they have points, that's a good night on those great players. So they always just say you can get Kobe to take 24 shots and only score 24 points, you did your job as a defender. So that's kind of what I think Aiden can do. And along with score the ball, give you 20 and 10 or 15 and 10 every single game, because Chris Paul is running that pick and roll. Like we always used to talk about the Jokić rule. Chris Paul is the most elite at the pick and roll probably ever in the history, one of the most elite. And Joker in no man's land when he's hedging on that screen with Chris Paul and Devin Booker as well. So I think that's just the difference in the game. They'll be able to get good shots quicker and at a more consistent basis than the Denver Nuggets. And also the turnovers will be low. Like Coach Parker always say, that turnover assist ratio. Chris Paul ain't gonna turn the ball over more than 2 times. Lillard last series, CJ, they're gonna turn the ball over close to 5 times a game, if not more. Those possessions not happening with Chris Paul.
Yeah, that matters. I think he was 11 assists, 1 turnover. And again, this is 3 times what it is considered to be pretty good. You know, if you got a 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio, you are a significant ball player on the court. Chris Paul he's in double digits. We talked about previous game. It was an infinite ratio because he had no turnovers. So he's averaging less than 2 turnovers per game, which is tremendous from the point guard position. While he's hurt. I know we get ready to talk MVP, so I'll hold my comments until then.
Well, I actually wondering, what do you guys think of this breakdown? Someone said Chris Paul, over 15.5, Booker, Devin Booker, over 4.5 assists, DeAndre.
Hey, Mario, I don't think this is what we want to do. I don't really like when people do that. That's the way we give them free picks. We'll give you the free pick when we give them. I don't like when people put like stats up there and stuff like that, asking.
Yeah, I agree. Because then they want to hold you to it. Yeah, that's their bet. Like if that's what you want to do.
That's what you like. If that's what you like, go with it. Because I don't tell people if they shouldn't make a bet. If you feel that bet, make that bet. If you want my opinion, in my group, and I break down every game, and you can take what I think. You get my whole full breakdown of every single game. You're not going to do this on the live. You can ask different questions, but now you're going to throw out 5 different stats out there.
Are you guys ready to talk MVP?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always ready to talk MVP.
All right, whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dallas.
You always ready. You always ready to talk MVP. I like how that sounds.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna say something special.
No, not at all. Joker is the MVP. I think he was a clear favorite based on what he did. He plays all aspects of the game. He can rebound. He can score. He can assist. He can step outside and shoot the 3. I think the one knock on his game is that he's not an elite or a significant defender when he's on the court. But I think he makes up for it with keeping his opponent in their heels. You got to spend so many times trying to stop Joker that you forget that you got to try to make him play defense as well. And that's why I think what you were talking about with Ayton is he's long, he's athletic, and so he's going to give Joker problems. Plus, he has a pretty nice, decent post game. He's able to rim run, you know, when Chris Paul and these guys get into the pick and roll. So I like the Joker pick. I think he deserves it. But you know, he was not my pick, and of course, my pick is because I feel like this man has been doing it for so long. Also, like Embiid, I just felt like if Embiid was healthy, he'd have probably had much more of a. He probably would have got more more votes. Right now, we're seeing his dominance as a big man. To me, Embiid is unstoppable. I don't think there's anybody in the league that can stop Embiid. I think the best matchup against Embiid would probably be somebody like a Drummond. But even still, Drummond can't dance with Embiid. I mean, this man, he can dance, he can move, he can spin, he can shake, he can shoot, he can do it all. So he's like a big man, with guard, perimeter type skills. And so I've seen Embiid do step backs. I've seen Embiid spin on guys. And what I like, and I was talking to Jalen earlier, is in the playoffs, they're allowing Embiid to be physical. So he has upped his play. He's been allowed to dip his shoulder into the chest of some of the guys and just bump them right down to the basket and then just go up and tear the rim off. And so I think Embiid is going to continue to score over 30 points a game with the injury that doesn't even seem to be slowing him down, at all. It actually seems to make him play a lot more in the post, if you will, as opposed to dancing around the perimeter.
Dallas, what do you think the MVP?
I think Jokić deserved it. It's clear as day. He carried the team even when one of their key players that carried them all through the playoffs last year. Even though a player like that could carry them to the playoffs, like Murray is missing, Jokić still continue to they can make that run through the playoffs and beat good teams, and it's just playing like a guard running. He thinks it, and I think it as well. But yeah, hey, Coach Parker, I got something back for you now. Second
What's
in
that?
MVP vote, no. Steph Curry second in MVP vote, man. Steph.
Yeah,
Steph Curry.
He was first to go home though. That's fine. Curry is one of the top players in the league. We're not debating that, but we're talking about most valuable players. For me, value is when your team is winning. Value is when your team is in the playoffs, and value is when your team is competing for a championship. Right? If Steph Curry gets votes, Bradley Beal should get votes. That's how I feel. Right? They average pretty much the same. Right? If you look at their rebounds, Beal probably gets more rebounds than Curry. Right? Curry probably shoots just as much. Shoots better from the three-point line or the free throw line. But when you look at their production, they have pretty much the same production. So they both were about 30, 31 points per game. So if Steph Curry gets votes, Bradley Beal gets votes. Why? Because Bradley Beal has been carrying Washington since he got there. But, of course, he's not going to get any credit. Why doesn't Bradley Beal get any credit? Because Washington hasn't been winning, right? So I get it. Steph Curry is popular. I like Steph Curry. I love the game. But I think this year, this was not his year to garner any MVP votes. And this is not me hating. Again, I love Curry. If I'll say this, if anybody should have gotten votes, if Curry gets votes, then LeBron got to get votes, so on and so forth. And I was talking to my boy D. He made a valid point. He says, he's like, Coach Parker, by your reasoning, the MVP of the league would be LeBron James every year. And I'm like, I agree, because LeBron brings so much value to the league. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, you're going to pay attention to what he does. I see 1,000 people hating on LeBron. Now I see another 1,000 loving him. So for me, that's value. And when LeBron is playing, let's be real, the ratings are up. People are watching. People are paying attention. And that's what the owners, that's what the league wants. They want rating. They want views. They want attention brought to the league. And LeBron does that. So, yeah, Curry, yeah. When Curry is playing, people are watching. When LeBron is playing, people are watching. When Chris Paul is playing, the organization is getting better. Players around him are having career years. And that's what I mean by my MVP, because for me, it's all about winning. As a coach, I'm thinking with a coach mentality. I think it's about winning and the impact you have on your team. But, yeah, and Curry, MVP, I give him a vote. But give LeBron some votes, too.
So if MPJ is questionable for game 2, do you guys think that makes any sort of a difference about your predictions?
I think they were going to lose anyway. So, if Michael Porter Jr. is not there, yeah. Dallas, I can't hear you. You on mute.
I said they just definitely gonna lose. Most
easy.
definitely don't got a chance.
Yeah.
That's the only chance they got to win it. He got to score 20.
Yeah, I would say 20, 25, unless Monte Morris comes and gives you Monte comes and gives you 20. Then maybe they both can score 20, and you get your 10, 12 from other people.
Man, they need a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Denver gonna need a miracle to get out this series.
A quick follow-up. The people in the stream have noticed that Dallas believes that the Clippers are going to push the ultra rush against the Nets. Do you still feel that way after last night's game against Utah?
I think the Clippers could beat Utah. I think it comes down to coaching. And if Paul George shows up, they beat him. I feel like if I was coaching the Clippers, they'd have a better chance of beating the Jazz right now. So I think I would make the right adjustments to the game where it would give Utah some difficulties, because I feel like the Clippers had the personnel to give Utah a lot of difficulties, but the coaching is better in Utah, and that comes to effect in the playoffs. Like I said, all playoffs, the Jazz have one of the best systems in NBA. Everybody gonna be in their spot. They run in the pick and roll. Gobert's going to the rim, corner, right wing, left wing. That's just what's going on. Every play down, Donovan creates, Ingles creates, Clarkson comes off the bench and scores. That's what happens. The Clippers can get a showing from Paul George at all, and I say put Paul George on Donovan Mitchell, and then just help off of other players. I would definitely put Paul George on Donovan. He can slither through the screens, and he's larger, so that when Donovan does get past him, he can come back and have an attempt at a block shot. Paul George is a really crafty defender, so I feel like you get Donovan taking all those threes, you can beat Utah. And they match up everywhere else pretty well. So, and get Gobert in foul trouble.
Go ahead.
I just got a hand. This not for you, Dallas, but this for my boy. I know my man is listening. Hey, D, did you see the closeout from Rudy Gobert to steal the victory? That's all I want to know. Did y'all see the closeout from Rudy with Morris Senior trying to shoot free to spin in overtime, and Rudy's hand closed out, got the block, we rebound, we get the deal. I think Utah's a better team. You know, I wouldn't be mad. I actually picked the Clippers to come out of it, but when I look at the two teams right now, I think Utah's playing better. I'm gonna stay with my pick. I think the Clippers have what it takes, but they're just not playing like it right now. So right now, I feel like Utah is the better team. But I'm gonna stay with my pick because I still want to see if I had my way, I would like to see the Clippers versus Phoenix. That would be a great series. And obviously, on the other side, Brooklyn versus Philly. That'll be tremendous basketball to watch for the next week and a half.
So for tonight's game, who do you guys think is going to dominate at the 3-point line?
Look, Devin Booker.
Dallas, you agree?
The team that dominates, the Nuggets don't win if they don't hit threes. So it better be the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
It don't got to be Phoenix. Phoenix can beat them without that. Denver can't beat them without hitting threes.
Yeah, I agree. Someone said it was Kawhi's shot to take, but I think they were keen on Kawhi and he kicked it. It was a great look. It's just that you got a plastic man closing out on you. You don't realize how much space he takes up because Rudy Gobert came from almost under the basket near the paint. I'll say to close that out. So that was a tremendous block. So here it is here. Can we run it back? Can we get the closeout block? So Kawhi is definitely getting ready. That's where Rudy comes from. He's in the paint. Oh. Yes. Yes. Love it.
I was like, I was thinking in the crowd.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Moore's got a good pump fake off, right? The man had time to land, come back, and recover. And I think on the second block shot, he really didn't jump. He just extended a little bit. And at 7'2", with a tremendous reach, you know, he's a problem.
All right. Are you guys ready to talk Coach of the Year? Because we talked a lot about who we thought was going to win, who we thought deserved to win. The actual person who ended up winning is somebody we said is one of the best. He creates one of the best defenses in the league. So Dallas Coach P, what do you think of winning Coach of the Year for the second time? I think they said he's one of 10 coaches to ever win this award twice.
Interesting. we thought they was gonna give it to Monty, but we both said Tibbs deserved it, so that's cool. I'm happy he got it. He definitely deserved it. Him or Nate. So
Yeah, I think at this juncture, Nate McMillan is probably the most deserving. But going back 2 weeks ago, we didn't really know how all of this was going to pan out. But I think if we took a vote today, I think it would be Nate versus Monty Williams. And I think with what we're seeing from Atlanta, I think Nate would get it. Based on being a lower seed and knocking out a higher seed, and then having a number one seed down early, in the series.
I actually have the clip pulled up because Dallas called this a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Pull up really quick so we can show. Dallas, what do you think?
Man, I like Thibodeau in New York. Nobody had the Knicks. No one had the Knicks as a 4 seed in the East. They had the top 4 teams, of course, the Bucks, Philly, Nets, and they had Boston rounding it up. And then after that, it's a random. Who knows? I feel like that Thibodeau has taken that Knicks team to a new level. They're playing defense at a crazy level. They were a young team, and the fact that they're young, that's the biggest part about it. He took a young team, and they're playing like an older team. Yes, they added Rose there, a veteran, but they're young. It's Randall, Barry, Bullock, Noel. It's like no one's been in the league more than 6 years. I think 4 of the starters have not been in the league more than 6 years, but they play like a veteran team. Yeah, I think Coach Parker said the same thing on that same show too.
Well, actually, I agree that I feel like Tibbs was a great pick. I think you heard me say that, but I think my point with Nate McMillan was that Tom Thibodeau and Monty Williams, they had the luxury of adding true leaders. You know what I'm saying? Guys that had been deep in the playoffs, guys that had were still hungry, and Derrick Rose for the Knicks, and Chris Paul and Jay Crowder. The only thing that the Atlanta Hawks added was Nate McMillan, and one person. His coaching philosophy, his spirit, his teaching, his commitment to defense, and him just recognizing what he has as a team. One person, just one change, was able to turn that series, to help turn a whole season around. I mean, they were going to be a lottery team if they kept that coach. But Nate McMillan made them a playoff team, and I would say today they are serious threats, right, to come out of the East. A serious threat. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think I'm starting to agree with Shiggy and Dallas as I look more at them. And I'm like, man, they got shooters everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like they're a serious threat to take down the number one seed, and also they could be one of the best teams to be a threat to Brooklyn.
For sure.
Nate McMillan is just as deserving, if not more. But I can't be mad with the pick and Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off you with the Hawks. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing why they are the biggest threat is because Trae Young has the same effect on the game that your boy Steph has on it. He can go win a game anytime. Any game that gets jump ball, Trae Young go win that game by himself. Like he could be that on fire that he can go win a game by himself, and it's crazy.
Yeah. I think Dockman made some adjustments to Trae Young, so we didn't really talk about it too much, but they're doubling him off that pick and roll now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we give out the free pick, I know that you both have something in common that you wanted to talk about today about basketball players who passed away. So you guys briefly want to touch on that before we give out this free pick?
Yeah, definitely. Dallas, you want to go?
You go first.
Yeah, so Dallas and I, we're down in Miami. I mentioned this in one of the earlier shows. One of my former players, Saeed Ali, he was murdered on his birthday while he was attending college in East LA. He was at East LA College. I believe they have a series called, what is that series they do on them? Last Chance University. And so Coach Mosley was his coach, but he had a birthday party 5 years ago, 2016. I was talking to him, Shamir, we were cracking jokes as he turned 20, I think it was. I think he turned 20. And maybe 3 or 4 hours after I got off the text, Shamir, his younger brother, texted me and said Saeed was dead. And I was like, this is crazy. And that same day, Kendrick Nunn was coming to do some community service with the children at my school. I was a principal at the time. And so he came in and, we both was just hurt. He stayed. I actually left. But we celebrate his life. We call it his heavenly birthday because the day he was born was the day he was born, right? He was born into this earthly realm. And on that same day, he was born into the heavenly realm. And so we honor him. We got a yacht party tomorrow. This evening, we got a dinner. So that's why you see the shades. And so if I draw up a tear, it's because it's an emotional moment, but also it's a celebratory time for us. He was a special person. He was a special kid, and a special young man as he grew from, I had him since he was in 4th or 5th grade, all the way up until he was playing ball in college.
Oh, wow. Dallas? You're muted.
We're actually out here in Miami right now celebrating. We all outside. A lot of Saeed's closest friends, myself. And the biggest thing that we're out here celebrating, like failure is not an option. None of us are failing in life right now. We actually gonna take a shot in tribute to Saeed. We out here enjoying ourselves right now. We got a dinner tonight, and so here we go.
Hey, I got my glass ready.
Oh, his wine.
Everybody right here.
I got my glass ready.
Are y'all ready? Everybody ready?
Happy birthday to my fucking brother Saeed. He passed away 5 years ago. We still celebrating like it was yesterday. That's the realest nigga I ever met. I swear to God, Saeed. That nigga.
Happy birthday, Fineo.
Fineo. So it's not an option.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think we got a clip as well.
Dallas, are you ready to give us a free pick?
I think we got a clip we wanted to play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my son here.
That's it. Okay.
In my neighborhood, you got the young blacks who want to make it. Every day I'm in the gym. Every day I'm going over the same stuff. The same stuff is repetition. You want the best for a family member, just like you want the best for a teammate. How hard can you push yourself? Or how far can you go? Or how much can you stand? To live in Chicago means toughness and strength. I am Chicago.
Saeed was a kid I adored.
Saeed was one of the hardest working kids that's been in this program.
Saeed used to come to my workouts all the time. And if he walked in the gym or walked into a place, you knew that he was there. I mean, the smile, the laughter, the joy.
Wow, he was a little rough. He would get under my skin a little bit. But he had the cutest smile. It's just like you couldn't be upset with him. He wasn't so talented and so tall. Saeed was just always a hard worker.
He was a kid who was just determined that he was going to play basketball and he was going to do it his way. After he graduated, he ended up going to Governor State for a year, and then he ended up going to college out in California.
He just kind of felt like he wanted to explore because he was thinking like, oh, well, maybe I can find me a school out here. So it was Wednesday, June 8th. He texted me to ask me to send him this photo of himself. And so I just started sending him different photos because it wasn't the one he was asking. I finally found the photo and I sent it to him. And so he sent me this text message like, you clutch. And we know clutch in basketball, you come through, right? So after that, I just started like looking through his photos. And I'm thinking because it's his birthday and I'm just excited, right? And so I text Saeed at 2:11 Chicago time. So it was 12:11 California time to wish him a happy birthday. And he responded, thank you, and things like that. And I wanted to call him, but I didn't because I figured he's out, with his friends because he's turning 20 and he's excited. And 4 hours after, my phone rang and it was a California number. It was one of the worst calls. Oh God. It was his cousin and he was screaming through the phone. I don't believe they did this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he goes, they killed Saeed. Like, what? Today is his birthday. Like, what do you mean? And then he goes,
Sounds like somewhat of a similar story that you mentioned earlier, Coach P.
Yeah, I mentioned so the young man that plays for the Miami Heat, I believe we might link up with him sometime while we're down here, Kendrick Nunn. And I kind of want to speak to the influence that Saeed had on a lot of people. But Kendrick was he transferred. He had a little issue at the University of Illinois. So his dad had reached out to me to see if he can do some community service. And I said, yeah, we can come in and help these young men and these young ladies understand, how to be student athletes. And he came in and did a fantastic job. And then even after that, he kept coming to the gym and kept working out with us. And he just became an inspiration for a lot of people. But Saeed, everybody that was attached to Saeed, from myself to Jalen, who we saw yesterday, who just won the championship, Dante Ingram hit a big three. Went to the Final Four. Kendrick Nunn. It's everybody seemed to lift themselves up and move to a high level. Kendrick was second runner-up for Rookie of the Year behind Ja Morant. And it's just so many people. We're getting kids that's signing letters of intent who were all attached to Saeed. And Saeed was one of my top trainers and one of my favorites because he always brought a spirit of everybody's going to work hard. And he never looked down on anybody. If you were a beginner or if you were a professional, he was in your ass just the same. He would work with the 5 and 6-year-olds that we had. He would also work with the guys who were 2 or 3 years just right behind him, motivating them, pushing him. And I remember Faneo. I don't know if anybody Saeed was struggling, because he wasn't getting the minutes that he really felt like he deserved at Simeon. And he had a moment where he felt like he wanted to give up on basketball. He came to train young people with me, and he was telling me how he was just tired of basketball. He was going to do something else. Typically, this way young men fall off and they like, I'm gonna be a rapper, I'm gonna hit the streets. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about, bro? And while he was talking and sharing this, kids was coming up to him like, hey, what's up, Saeed? Man, it's good to see you in the gym. And another guy came up, he's like, ain't you Saeed? Man, I saw you killing him the other day, man. You play for Simeon, right? Man, I saw you. And everybody was just coming up to him while he was saying that he wanted to give up. People were coming up and they were just he was just a special person, right? He's just a special spirit. And so it was almost like that day, he was like, you know what, Coach Brown, you're right, man. I ain't gonna never give up. You know what? Failure is not an option. We're gonna keep pushing. And to me, he accomplished way more than what he set out to do. I think he really wanted to be a pro. He was on his way. And for me, a pro is your work ethic, your determination, and your drive and your spirit. And he had all of that. And you heard someone say he wasn't the best, but he worked harder than everybody else that I've ever had in the gym. And that's no lie. I don't make things up. This was the hardest young man I ever seen work in terms of chasing his dreams. And we see the result. LeBron James, Sons was spotted wearing his shoe. He has a signature Nike shoe entitled Faneo. Failure is not an option. I want everybody that can hear, that can listen to this message. It came from Saeed. Failure is not an option. And when you make that your motto, your goal, you can't help but to be successful.
Alice, in the final word.
So failure is not an option. That's why. That's what you just think about whenever you're doing anything. Make sure you put your all into it. Go hard if you're doing something, because it's like, what's the point of wasting your time doing it? And yeah.
All right, you ready to give out the free pick?
Yeah, the free pick is the Chicago Sky. I like the Chicago Sky because Miss CP is back. Candace Parker. It's her first home game. She's playing. They're going against the Indiana Fever. I like the Sky for the first quarter, first half game. I just like the Sky. I think the Sky are top 3 team in the WNBA when healthy. So Candace Parker's back. It's showtime.
Yeah, as soon as she got injured, I sent her ankle. It was huge and swollen. I told him, I said, like, don't make this guy pick. She packed it out for at least 2-3 weeks. Her ankle. When after that. All right, Dallas. Do you want to, since we did have a couple of comments about picks, do you want to give out the number if you want to sign up to do it?
Text 702-613-7503. Text the word legal licks to that number, and I'll give you $200 off. As long as you text within the next hour, you'll be able to get the picks for tonight as well.
So ASAP.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right.
We had some nice comments that I was putting up on the screen. Someone saying they love this podcast and thanks for watching. Coach T, thank you for coming back today. Dallas, of course, always a pleasure. We're
For
hoping
sure.
they'll 6-2. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
6